In this video, I'm going to work with various techniques to build and modify shapes. I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can and try to get through it thoroughly. So some basic geometric shapes are located under this rectangle tool. That shortcut is M, or the circle or ellipse is L. You'll also see polygon and star tools. After you have drawn a polygon, you will notice over here to the right is a diamond shape, and you can click and drag that to control how many sides are on the polygon. You can also create spirals and arcs with the line tool. And after you've created a shape, you can round the corners to create some interesting shapes. So when you select an object, you'll see these little white dots in the corners. If you use the black arrow to select an object and click and drag one of those, it's going to round all of the corners, versus if you grab the white arrow and only one anchor point, you can individually select points or shift select multiple points to round corners. Also, I am working in the Essentials Classic workspace, so you can see the same panels that I'm looking at. Whenever we begin to build more complex and interesting shapes, you might want to use the eraser tool, which is over here in the left palette, or Shift E. And I can adjust the size of the eraser with my left bracket to decrease and right bracket to increase. And whenever I erase through part of the shape, it creates separate shapes. Versus the cut tool, which is C for shortcut, or the scissors. If I cut 2 anchor points on an enclosed shape and delete part of that, when I convert this shape to a stroke, you'll see that those paths are not joined. We can join those with Command J or Control J, or a little bit longer way is to go to Object, Path, Join. And now we have an enclosed shape, which if we're building a logo, we might want to change shapes, add other shapes. The pen tool is another way to build shapes. That shortcut is P. And I can start by just clicking anywhere and click another place. And if I hold down, it will create a curve. If I want to get out of the curve, I can click on the previous point and it goes back to a straight line. So clicking and dragging creates a curve. To get out of that, I can tap V or the escape key. Let's say we have a custom shape and we want to create an outline just outside of it. If we copy and paste in front or paste another shape, you'll notice when I scale it, it's uneven around the edge. We want a perfect outline. So to do that, we can go to Object, Path, Offset Path, and now we can specify an outline that evenly goes around the shape. Distortion is another method we might use to modify shapes. I can go to Effect, Distort and Transform, and here I've got Roughen. We wanted to add a subtle texture to a shape or line. Another method is using the pucker or bloat tool. There are various options under Effect, Distort, and Transform, which can create some interesting shapes. When we have a very detailed object, or we just want to draw half of the object and reflect it, it's very easy to do. You can either right-click and transform, reflect, and whichever axis, and make a copy. Or another method is by going to Object, Repeat, Mirror. You can also do a radial repeat. So if you have a selected object and go to Object, Repeat, Radial, you'll see here on the right are a couple of arrows where we can increase the number of instances or decrease. There's also an arrow here where we can change whether it goes around the entire 360 degrees or stops at a certain area. Up here in the top left, you can also change the number of instances and the radius. This little dot right here, if you click on that, you can also enlarge or decrease that size. If you do apply one of the repeat effects, you will want to go ahead and expand that. Make sure to make a copy first in case you want to edit it again in the future. But to expand it, you'll go to Object, Expand. And now you have a grouped object that you can modify pieces more independently. If I back up and undo, I can also change objects after I've added the effect. So let's say I want to modify pieces. I can click into that. And you'll see when I delete it, it updates everywhere. Another method to use repeat is to create a grid. So if I want to create a grid of anything, maybe a line, I can go to Object, Repeat, Grid. And using these handles, I can expand it horizontally or vertically. Up here in the top left, I can edit the horizontal spacing. And if I want to make sure there's no gaps and it's aligned, just reduce the vertical spacing to a 0. And then I can copy this and paste in place or paste in front and rotate it. So now I have a grid. You can also do that with circles or other objects. And this might come in handy when you're creating custom shapes with the shape builder. So that grid tool might be helpful when we go to build a shape. You do want to make sure when you've used the grid builder that you go to Object, Expand, so that those are individual lines. So let me show you an instance of building a shape. This is an example where they've drawn some custom geometry to build the logo. And I've got that kind of outlined here. So to use the shape builder, we can do it in a basic capacity with very few shapes. And that shortcut is Shift M, or the icon looks like 2 circles with an arrow. And when I hover over these shapes, you'll see that this line is dividing them where they intersect. I can drag through objects to connect them, or if I undo, I can hold down Option to remove pieces. Or in this case, Shift M to get to the shape builder. And maybe I want to combine that shape. Or maybe I want to delete it by holding down Option. And I've actually drawn a white circle here, so maybe I want to remove that. And now I have 2 shapes. Or in a more complex shape, select any objects that I want to use the shape builder, Shift M. And in this case, since they are strokes, I'm going to swap them so it's a fill. And you can see from that hummingbird that these Wi-Fi lines were solid, and then connect any other pieces together. And if you want to remove pieces, holding down Option. So this can help you build some very custom shapes. The grid repeat can be used on logos and other objects. You can go to Object, Repeat, Grid, and create a pattern that way, which you can scale holding down Shift. Or if you actually want to make it a pattern to reuse, you would need to select the object and go to Object, Pattern, Make, and this will add it to your swatches panel, where you have lots of options on how that might be positioned, what the spacing might be, and various other settings. If I were to apply this pattern now to a shape, you can click on my new pattern. And if I want to scale that pattern within the shape, I'll go to the scale tool, double click on the scale tool. And if I want to transform only the pattern within, I need to uncheck transform objects and make sure transform patterns is still on. And that way I can transform only the pattern. Whereas if I were transforming the entire object, it's going to change everything. Same with scaling strokes and corners. You can turn those off. And now I can create any shape and fill with that pattern. If I want to edit the pattern, just double click on it. And when I click out of it, you'll notice that it's updated any of the swatches I've applied the pattern to, unless you make a copy of the pattern by dragging it to the plus sign and then apply or edit that other pattern. If you like to draw or sketch, image trace is a great method to start creating vector shapes. So you can paste in or drag and drop your image, and then under Window, Image Trace, and you'll see lots of options here. I typically bring the noise way down, bring up the paths, ignore white, and be sure to check the preview box if you want to see how that's coming along. You might need to increase the threshold to pick up more of the blacks. And once you're ready, click Expand. And now I only have a black filled object. If after you have live traced an object, if there are a lot of extra paths, you can reduce the number of paths to simplify and go to Object, Path, Simplify, and it will bring up a slider and you can optimize the number of paths and decide how much of that detail you really need. A method you can use to fit text to a shape would be Make with Top Object. And to do that, you're going to select an object and make sure in your layers palette that it is above your text. If you're unsure, just right click on the object and go to Arrange, Bring to Front. And for the text, we need to make sure that is paths. So go to Type, Create Outlines. And now I can select both the text and the object and either use the shortcut Alt-Control-C or go to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. And you'll see I actually need to rotate the text if I want it to read better. Let's try that again. Alt-Control-C. You can also warp objects and text by going to Object, Envelope Distort, and Make with Warp or Make with Mesh. So a warp is going to give you some presets. Or if you click on an object and go to Object, Envelope, Distort, Make with Mesh, you can choose how dense the mesh is. And now if you use your anchor selection, the white arrow, you can selectively alter points or move and drag these handles to create different shapes. The clipping mask is a great way to mask specific shapes and even images with an object. First, I'm going to quickly show you how I created that wave pattern. So with that stroke selected, go to Effect, Distort and Transform, Zigzag, change the points to smooth, and adjust the size. Now if I hold down Option, click and drag to copy another line, I can use the Blend tool, which is W for shortcut, select both lines, and now double click on the Blend tool and increase the number of steps. And I can still edit the weight of those lines. You might need to use the flyout menu to show more options. And now with an object, make sure it is arranged at the front, Arrange, Bring to Front, and with both objects selected, go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, or that shortcut is Control-7. And now we have masked lines. Now let's say we have two objects and we want to create a clipping mask. If we have more than one object, we need to first make that a compound path by going to Object, Compound Path, Make. And then making sure those objects are again arranged on top. I'm going to select both objects and go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Another method to create custom shapes is using the Pathfinder. And for this, we need to make sure that our text is converted to paths under Type, Create Outlines. And I will need to open the Pathfinder by going to Window, Pathfinder. And we have some different shape modes and pathfinders. So for this, I want to combine those two shapes. Let's do merge first and now unite. And feel free to experiment with how these interact. And then with another shape that I want to combine with that B letter form, I need to select both objects. And again, you can experiment. So this will cut out intersecting shapes, or you could delete the other ones, or you can use divide to cut through all of the intersecting shapes and then remove those by clicking into the group, or using the white arrow to select pieces. I hope this video helps with your project. If it did, please like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Take care.